What is happening, guys? Cowboy here. Welcome to the final part of our Death's Gambit walkthrough. So, back over at Kair's Shiori, taking the elevator on up, and it's time for a final battle. It's always melancholy when a journey like this comes to an end. So, I'm going in with 3 plumes. Do whatever works for you, whether that's going to be 4 plumes, 3 plumes, 10 plumes. Obviously, you want to be comfortable with how much health you have. Aren't you? Yeah. I was say, I don't remember you being real.
It's only a matter of time until your mind rots and betrayal seeps into your thoughts.
What's gotten into you? I wish to destroy the source, just like you.
We see through your deception.
So, you don't have to fight them. Just run past them. If you run past them and you go back, they've reset. If you kill them, they're not going to be back at town. You can see they'll still aggro you. I don't know why. Like, from what I found, you don't have to kill them. Big thing is you want to come over here. Something... there was none. But yeah, if you don't kill them, they'll still be in town. Otherwise, you can kill them, get the stuff they drop. I would just leave them alive. That way you still have them as vendors, and you can always kill them as NPCs if you choose. So anyway, elevator up to the top of the Citadel. Final rest. If there's anything you want to change, augment. As I mentioned, I'm going in with a 7-3 split, level up, whatever the case is, now it's your choice. So, for this boss fight, it is going to be a multi-stage boss fight, technically 4 phases. We have the general phase, where we're just going to be fighting Endless. After that, there are 3 aspects of Endless we need to conquer. Endless Fear, Endless Sadness, Endless Rage. Endless Fear is going to be the hardest by far. She's going to create orbs that after a set amount of time will shock you into a huge AoE explosion. On top of that, she also has an advanced melee moveset during that one. Endless Sadness does a pushback lightning call down and a whirlwind, where she'll basically do a whirlwind spin with ground lightning coming out of her. That one is moderate, you dodge and boop. The final one is Endless Rage, where honestly you just stay on top of her and just beat the shit out of her and hit fireballs as they come at you. The only thing to look out for in Endless Rage is she'll occasionally leave a dark red orb, which is a massive bomb. So with all that being said, let's go forward and wrap this up.
Are you not sick of death? Your friends? Your mother? Your legacy lie in ruin?
No, not yet. So long as you lie dead at my feet.
Would it be worth it then? Just to see me dead?
Yes. Killing you, my actions will ripple through ages. I will be remembered. My mother's sacrifice will be remembered. And you? Forgotten.
Look around at these decrepit statues. They were built to immortalize the Ascended, to honor their memory. But can you name any of them? No one can. Not anymore. So tell me, who will remember the commoners when they are gone? Who will remember us when we are gone? You are still a child. You don't understand that what I do is greater than the both of us. When I am done, no one will ever fear death again. That is worth everything.
Once the plague of immortality begins to spread, it will spell ruin for the world as you know it. I'll make sure that doesn't happen.
Face me!
Here we go. First actual fight against Endless. Up until now. So, when she starts her teleporty shit, there's
How many times have you died trying to reach me? Is all your pain worth it?
There is a rhythm that she can't even see right now because we're just beating the shit out of her.
You were forged by war, but I knew a time before it. continue to feed into this cycle of death. Soren, if you destroy it, all immortals will die. And I will not endure this torture again. Ask yourself if it's worth it.
By virtue of the divine order, her life is already forfeit. What are you waiting for? This is your moment, the culmination of your struggle. End it all. Embrace your destiny.
We were sent here to die, but we persevered.
So now's when you gotta get through. This is actual phase 1.
How you busy humans long for meaning, where there is none.
I should have known you'd never understand. After all, I was your conviction, and you are my blood. Look what's become of us.
That's right. Endless is your mom. So, I'm gonna heal up here, and this is where the phases begin. As I mentioned, fear is the hardest, so get fear done first. Bullshit.
Embrace the dark. Free yourself from your earthly constraints.
How can you ask me to kill my own mother?
Your mother's life was forfeit the moment she left for the expedition. What you see before you is a woman sustained through dark magic. She will degrade into the thralls you slaughtered to get here. Blood for blood. That is the only way. Soren, destroy the source and free your mother.
It's come to this, has it? Betrayed by my own son. A pawn of this creature. How do you even know he is who he says he is?
Only those who are at my door can see me. You've been an absent guest for the past several years. It's time you leave this mortal realm.
So, moving on from there, endless sadness.
Be judged.
Oh yeah.
Fury of the heavens. I can't endure it anymore. If I could go back, I would have never left. Soren, you don't deserve this.
Here's our final heal, and now for endless rage.
Feel the raging fire of my soul!
And that is it.
Soren, do what you must. But no, there was never a moment that you weren't in my thoughts. I couldn't live with myself for leaving you behind. Returning to you one day kept me going. Nothing makes me happier than to see you here now. I'm sorry I failed you as a mother. I wish I could have spent more time with you. Soren, don't make the same mistakes I did. I may not have been there for you in life, but I will always be with you in death. So, live
So at this point, you can do a rematch by talking to the corpse of Endless. You basically just need to jump up and shatter that. But if there's anything else you want to do...
Truly, after all we've been through, I expected more from someone who bears witness to the very stagnation that demerits life.
Yeah, he'll give you a little talking, but you can go and, you know, do heroic bosses, things like that. Another thing is if you equip your deaths thing, you can see holding right bumper will cancel the contract. It'll put you into a permadeath mode if you want to, you know, bump up the challenge, basically. But otherwise, smash it. It's Death's Gambit. So, as always, now that the credits are rolling, let's do a review. So, first and foremost, this game, for me, was a 10 out of 10. It knocked it out of the park. You know, the literal moment I got a chance to play this game, I fell in love with it. I was like, this is gonna be something awesome. You know, the whole war-torn orphan story, you know, the battles, the Castlevania type aspect, the familiar soul-like mechanics. There was so much about this game for me to love. So let's go through some things. The pixel art, absolutely stunning. The musical score, like, honestly, that's probably the biggest thing wrong with this game, is the fact that they don't have the OST for sale yet. The musical score for this game is phenomenal. Like, easily on par with, like, the big dick ones. Like, I would say, when it comes to musical scores, I think of things like The Witcher, I think of Final Fantasy, I think of Persona. I would certainly put this up there. For it being, you know, a lot of it is kind of like MIDI sound, even. But the music in this game is just like, oh my gosh, fucking Craigasm. Class diversity, I like that every single class does feel, like, the weapons do feel very unique. I feel the specials, to an extent, there's definitely a bit of overlap. All of the moves are very different in terms of, like, how they look and how they attack. But for the most part, you know, it's like everybody gets some kind of slash, everybody gets some kind of bleed. Usually they have some kind of AoE-oriented move. So I feel that, you know, in one case, some weapons got more love than others. Like, for example, for Scythe, I only found 3 moves playing through the game for Scythe. I only found 2 spear moves, but something like the Greatsword had like 5 moves. So I hope to see more stuff added in regards to that. Combat was fluid. There was definitely that little bit of heaviness to it, where it's like, you know, if you overcommitted, you fucked up. But hold on a second here. What have I done? Contained Siradon's immortality and freed your mother from the evil that had befallen this place. But without her, the kingdoms will storm Caer Siori. They find nothing. Peace built on a lie is a fragile thing. No one may know Endless has fallen here today. All that I've done. Am I free to go now? and that's the game. So one of the cool things here is at the end you can choose. You know, there are 10 levels of New Game Plus, but you can go up in difficulty 3 at a time. So you could go, you know, New Game 3, New Game 6, New Game 9. To get yourself up to 10 if you're looking to really, really ramp up the challenge. And of course, starting New Game all the way back to the start. You know, familiar scenes here. As for, you know, our inventory, we still have all of this stuff. You know, as you would expect, in most cases, you know, we don't have certain key items. We have our skeleton key still. We have the phoenix down still, that was a drop, but the other key items, like obviously the sigils to open the final door, those are gone. And you really kind of have to do New Game Plus to get all of your upgrades here. But anyway, kind of back to the review. We'll just let the music play in the background here. So yeah, I mean, the combat, I felt the combat was good. I did feel that each weapon did have a different enough moveset to feel unique. Personally, I would have liked to see more weapons. Not necessarily weapon times, but just other ones, you know? And what I mean by that is, you know, for the longsword, the Vados longsword is the only longsword I found. You know, for the Great Hammer, for example, there's the Steel Great Hammer, and then there was the Stone one. For the Halberd, I only saw the Alduin Halberd. For the gun, you had to, for the Great Sword, I think there's the Alduin Great Sword. I think there was one other one floating around somewhere. And it could be the case that all that other stuff is just rare drops that I haven't farmed up and haven't seen yet. But personally, I feel like it would have been cool if there were 2 to 3 weapons of each type. Because, you know, with bows, for example, you had the 3-arrow bow, you had the bleed bow, you had the fire bow, you had the upgraded fire bow. I know there is a rare Almvaro bow that shoots explosive magical arrows. So there's a lot of different options available for the bow. Whereas with longsword, it's like, it's the longsword. Like, give me other longsword type weapons, you know. And I guess to further drive home the point, you know, like, so this is, oh, hang on. So if I go, you know, strength scaling, requires finesse and strength, but strength scaling. Guns don't have scaling, finesse scaling. But if we look at the shields have they have ratings, like the A toughness, the B toughness, etc. Personally, I would have really liked to see scaling on the weapons. I mean, I know that's a very Soulsy type thing to do, but I would have loved to find a sword that, you know, has even if it's just direct upgrades. Like there's the Vados longsword, the something broadsword, and then the Endless's blade. You know, even if there was just a tier, I would have liked to see that. Some other things, I mean, for $20, the game is a good length, for sure. You know, a single playthrough of the game, if you know what you're doing and where to go, for the most part, I'd say you're looking at about 10 hours. So 10 hours of content for $20, and that's one playthrough. And you guys know my golden rule is, in an ideal world, you should get an hour of gameplay per dollar you spend. I don't feel this is a game you do just one playthrough with. You know, the Death's Acolyte playthrough using the Scythe was very, very different from this. Next, I plan on doing a mage playthrough. I imagine that'll be quite different from this. So, I mean, 2 playthroughs of the game, excluding New Game Plus playthroughs, you can easily net 20 hours out of this game, without a doubt. So I definitely think it's worth the cost. No questions asked. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, mechanically, everything is sound. You know, there weren't any real bugs we ran into. This is my 3rd time going through the game, and I've yet to encounter any game-breaking bugs, but I know other people have. I know actually there was that one issue. I had an issue with my monitor being 144 Hertz, and that not syncing up with the game properly. It basically caused the game to run at double speed, which was pretty weird. But, you know, knocked my monitor back down to 60 Hertz, problem solved. And that's something, you know, high-end consumers with the big dick monitors, you're going to experience that. But a lot of that stuff is easy to fix. Another thing which I'm not a giant fan of, the talent trees are very generalized. And I voiced this concern back with the initial loss as well. But, you know, for the most part, it's all the same. Like, I have Sentinel's Mastery as a Death's Acolyte. I had Acolyte's Mastery. But it's all the same, you know, Mastery here, Soul Energy Mastery there, Air Dodge there. Personally, I would have really liked to see talent diversification between the classes. I think that would have helped even more so to pull out their individuality. But, you know, I understand how it is when you have a smaller development team. You work with what you got. Trying to think if there's anything else. Balance, we discussed weapons, we discussed sound, gameplay, replayability. Voice acting knocked it out of the park. I think that about wraps it up. I mean, all in all, definitely a phenomenal game. I'd say that out of everything that released in August, this takes the cake. I mean, for anything, I would say that anything in the $20 price point range, if there was if there's an indie game category at Game of the Year Awards, this game should fucking win it, without a doubt. I mean, it's just beautiful. So yeah, for Indie Game of the Year, this is my pick, without a doubt. Like I said, you know, honestly, at the end of the day, 10 out of 10 for me. This game was amazing. There's little things I want, namely, you know, more talents, more weapons, but they are things that even without having them, I feel that they would serve to enhance the game, but it doesn't take away from the game not having those elements. So, all in all, for me, absolutely loved it. But either way, we're going to wrap this one up here. My very first playthrough of the game, I have those videos coming from Twitch. I'll probably have those up after this walkthrough series is done, just so I'm not bombarding you guys with loads and loads and loads and loads of Death's Gambit all at once. And then in the coming weeks, I'll also be starting a mage playthrough that'll likely be streamed. I'm not sure if I'll upload that as well. It really depends on how people receive the other streams, because they're like hour-long videos with a lot of goofing around and stuff happening as well. So we'll see. But either way, guys, thanks for coming by and watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this walkthrough. Obviously, as for what we have on the horizon, we still have We Happy Few ongoing. In addition to that, Monster Hunter Generation Ultimate Super Mega English Edition is out. We're going to be playing that. It'll mainly be a stream thing, but I may paddle around in some build videos for that. And then obviously, as we make our way into September, well, we have Battle for Azeroth happening already. I should have mentioned that too. Then as we make our way into September, of course, we have Spider-Man, the first big AAA title, up on the horizon. So either way, make sure to stay tuned. There's going to be plenty of content coming as we move our way into Q4. Thanks again for all the support on this series. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching this game as much as I enjoyed playing it. And with all of that being said, I will see you all next time.